So we're going to show you how to put together the perfect holiday centerpiece for your table. So Amy, tell us a little bit about how do we get started if you're creating your own centerpiece, or what goes into creating the centerpieces that you guys make?
Absolutely. So first of all, you want to make sure that your container is waterproof. Some people just kind of put the water in there and it leaks, and that's not what we want to happen. Mine is already prepped. I have Oasis that has been taped down to the container. The Oasis has been soaked in water so that it can keep the water, the moisture, and make sure that the greens stay nice and hydrated.
And we talked about, when we talked about greens as well, talked about how to keep them hydrated, and it sounds like having them in water, just kind of like you do flowers, but having that water there helps them to stay fresher longer.
Absolutely. So yes,
great.
Yes.
That's a great addition, and probably provide some structure to what you're going to tell us about next.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So when you get started on making your centerpiece, you're going to want to make sure that you have longer pieces that come from the bottom to kind of cover the cosmetics.
Okay.
So make sure that you are clipping fresh, 45-degree angle. That will help these to stay nice and moist throughout the time that you're going to be keeping them. Just start at our four corners and just kind of fill around and angle downward.
And I love how you're using different lengths. Like this one is a bit longer, that one's a little shorter in the front.
Yes, it's totally up to the person that's making it, honestly, how they prefer. There's no real...
A lot of it has to do with the amount of space that you have also on a table.
Absolutely.
Traditional, your family's gathering and you may have 6, 7, 8, 12 people around a table. And traditionally at a family dinner table, you're going to have this beautiful centerpiece that sits in the middle while everybody's kind of snacking around. Mm-hmm. And then that will come out as the turkey or the ham goes in. But if you've got a large space, as Amy's doing here, you can make a larger one, and sometimes you only have a small amount and you can make it. You're in control.
Right. So we're just going to kind of try different varieties and just mix them in. So I'm just kind of filling around the edges. Just, putting a few pieces here, putting a few pieces there, but you definitely want to build, and then that way you know how many pieces you're going to need, comfort level, what you have available.
This can be a centerpiece on any kind of table that you have, whether it's your main table for your guests, your appetizer table,
for your charcuterie, however you want to design.
Yep, mm-hmm. It's just a great, it adds such a nice scent, and adds a really great element to be able to just bring in that holiday spirit.
So our centerpiece is almost finished getting greened up. I started at the bottom with our longer pieces to kind of cover up the cosmetics and to trail along your countertop or your table. And I just kind of built around different varieties, different textures, different shades, different colors, the longer pieces on the bottom, and just kind of go shorter as you get to the top. Now we also have pine cones, berries, and bows that we can incorporate into the piece, and also a candle as well, which would be a great idea. Just make sure that you light it at dinner time.
Yes. And I love this because we do a lot of winter weddings as well that use evergreens or different greens into their centerpieces or decor. And I think adding a candle element, how beautiful would this be as a centerpiece on a wedding table as well?
So over here we have a pillar. Now we would tape this down to make sure that it stays secure, but for the video we're just kind of giving it another option that you would have. So
you do a big candle in a hurricane vase like that. Yes. You do a smaller candle. So when you're doing this centerpiece, tell us a little bit about the elements that go in on top.
Sure, absolutely. So you want to have your item greened up as much as possible and leave a little bit of space for what you're going to use on top of your centerpiece, whether it just depends on what kind of centerpiece you're making. If it's for, the holidays, a candle, or you could use a big Christmas bulb, or you could use a ceramic turkey if it's for Thanksgiving, that sort of thing. So it just kind of, it's up to you. but we're going to use this holder that will go down into the oasis and help it so that it will stabilize a little bit better. We're just going to put it right in the middle there. A little bit of height as well. And then have our candle on top. Yes.
So beautiful. And then you have some other elements that you've brought that you can add in to really give it that festive vibe.
Yes, we have some berries, we have pine cones, birds, bows, and if you don't like the candle, you can always, you know, use the pine cones instead.
Yes.
But
beautiful.
These are on picks, and they just simply slip into the oasis. And then you can just kind of go through your items and just add.
So what you do is you're taking the green and giving it the bling.
Yeah.
Well, it adds
Yes, I love that.
it
Yep,
adds
yep.
a little panache.
Yes.
That otherwise you have a beautiful. I mean, it's gorgeous green itself, but boy, you're adding that little bit of flavor to it.
Yes, and different colors and textures, and really you could go any color scheme.
If
with
you
this
like
too,
red, you can use red. If you like burgundy, gold is regal. It really, and of course having just little whites and silvers also.
Yeah, just really livens it up. Really adds that extra bling to your centerpiece. So yes, so here we have that nice bright red, and here you had one done already with that nice burgundy color scheme as well. This one's a little bit smaller, doesn't go as wide. So, you know, if you have a really long table, this would be a great centerpiece to add that to. A smaller space, you know, really you talked about you can make them whatever size that fits best for your table in the space that you're trying to add that extra little holiday spirit to. So for more tips and inspirations for your future celebrations, be sure to like and follow us on all of your social media platforms. Happy holidays!